As the bus rolled into the small town, the sky was a vivid blue, framed by lush green hills and fields stretching toward the horizon. Nia, a young journalist with a soft smile and sharp, curious eyes, stepped out, breathing in the scent of wet soil. She had come to the town to cover a story on the environmental restoration projects revitalizing the area. But as she gazed at the gathering storm clouds, she sensed there was more to this place than she had first imagined. Her contact, Tunde, was already waiting near the bus station, leaning casually against a tall, ancient tree. With his athletic build, deeply tanned skin, and a confident, relaxed stance, Tunde radiated a natural charm. He had the kind of face that carried a gentle strength, his eyes warm and steady, his smile hinting at the secrets of the land he worked so passionately to protect. Nia couldn't help but notice the way his presence made her heart flutter. He greeted her with a warm handshake, his hand firm but gentle. "Welcome to Akora," he said with a smile that brightened his entire face. "Thank you," Nia replied, feeling an unexpected jolt of connection in the touch of his hand. "I'm looking forward to learning about your projects here." They set off through the small town, which bustled with activity. As Tunde led her along dirt paths lined with thatched houses and vibrant marketplaces, he explained his work as a local environmentalist, passionate about preserving the delicate ecosystem of Ikora. His voice held a deep love for his community and for the natural beauty of the land. "And what about you?" he asked, glancing over at her. "What drew you to this story?" Nia hesitated, then answered, "I grew up in the city, surrounded by skyscrapers and noise. I wanted to reconnect with something real. When I read about Akora, it felt like a place worth discovering." Tunde nodded, his gaze steady on her. "Then I hope you find what you're looking for." As the sun dipped lower, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. Nia looked up, noticing the shift in the air. "Looks like a storm's coming," she murmured. Tunde glanced up, his face breaking into a grin. "We're in for a heavy one. Come on. I know a place where we can wait it out." Before she could protest, the first drops of rain began to fall, quickly turning into a downpour. Tunde grabbed her hand and pulled her along, their footsteps pounding against the wet earth as they dashed through the storm. They laughed, both soaked, feeling like children again, swept up in the thrill of the unexpected. They arrived at a small abandoned house with a sturdy roof. Inside, they found dry refuge, and Tunde lit a small lantern, casting a warm glow across the room. Nia looked around, shaking the water from her hair, her laughter fading as she met his eyes. The air between them felt charged, the rain drumming against the roof, a rhythmic backdrop to the silence that now filled the space. They settled on a woven mat in the corner, shoulders brushing, close enough to feel each other's warmth. As the storm raged outside, they shared stories, their voices low and intimate. Nia told him about her life in the city, her longing for a deeper connection to the world around her. Tunde, in turn, shared his love for the land, how he had grown up surrounded by its beauty and had dedicated his life to protecting it. The conversation grew softer, and the distance between them shrank until they were close enough to feel each other's breath. Tunde's hand reached for hers, their fingers interlocking naturally. He brushed his thumb over her knuckles, his touch gentle yet electric. Nia's heart raced, her pulse quickening with every passing second. She looked up, meeting his gaze, and saw in his eyes the same longing that she felt. Slowly, as if drawn by an invisible force, their faces moved closer until his lips met hers in a soft, tentative kiss. The kiss deepened, and Nia felt herself melt into him, her hand coming up to rest on his shoulder. His arms encircled her, pulling her closer, his warmth a comfort against the cool air around them. They lost themselves in each other, the intensity of their connection building as the rain outside mirrored the passion inside. He leaned close, his beard brushing her cheek, sending a shiver through her. His touch was deliberate, not rushed, hands gliding over her with a confidence that said he understood the art of slowing down. There was a subtle tease in his movements, a flirtation that hinted at the depth of his intentions. With each gentle caress, he was attuned to her breathing, the slightest gasp guiding him deeper into understanding her needs. His beard traced a line of warm, feather-like kisses along her collarbone, down to her waist and back again, teasing her senses as if he knew every hidden desire. He looked up, catching her gaze, his eyes conveying the promise of more. It wasn't about a finish line for him. It was about savoring every moment, reading every response, lingering where he knew it would bring her bliss. There was no rush, no hurry, only the skillful patience of a man who enjoyed the journey as much as the destination. Someone who knew how to unravel her with his touch, his gaze, and his gentle, knowing presence. In the quiet of that moment, he wasn't just with her, he was exploring her, bringing a kind of intimacy that went beyond physicality. And in his gentle way, he made her feel understood, adored, and wholly desired, leaving her craving the next moment as much as the last. "Neither did I," she replied, her voice barely audible. They held each other in silence, the room filled with the steady beat of the rain and their quiet breaths. Wrapped in each other's arms, they shared a moment that felt timeless, a connection that neither had anticipated but both knew would stay with them forever. The storm continued, but they no longer noticed. In that small, dimly lit room, they found a warmth that went beyond words, a love that felt as natural as the earth they stood upon. And as the first light of dawn broke through the clouds, they knew that neither would ever be the same again.